Agwan, that means what's up in Jamaica. Welcome to another episode of Cook Like a Champion. Today I'm gonna be teaching you some of my favorite authentic Jamaican jerk recipes. We're gonna start off with pan-seared pork tenderloin with a mango rum sauce. It's gonna be so good. I'm Chef Champion. Let's bring cooking back the way it used to be. Welcome to the new age of culinary learning. All right, so for those of you guys that have never had Jamaican cuisine, it is the most delicious, spicy cuisine, I think, in the world. Me and my wife went down there to Negril, Jamaica, and I made it a point to try out all of the trucks that had the best Jamaican jerk chicken that they had out there. I'm doing pork tenderloin, just a little bit of a twist. What I did find, though, is instead of using all of those ingredients that they use, the cinnamon, the Scottish black peppers, being in the States, you can't always find those ingredients. So I went to my local African Caribbean store right here in the Appleton area called Lex Max Caribbean Store, and I got some Walker's Wood already made Jamaican jerk seasoning, which is gonna make this whole process a lot easier, because I know that's what you guys are looking for. Quick and easy, but still delicious. So the first thing that we wanna do is I'm gonna show you guys how to clean a tenderloin. So when you buy the tenderloin at the store, as you see, there's this silver skin right here, and you wanna make sure you get that silver skin off. Very, very rubbery, and it's gonna be very, very chewy. I was a butcher for 5 years. You can ask your local butcher. They might give you the dirty stink eye, but just tell them you want the silver skin removed and they'll do it right there for you. So first things first is have the proper knife. I have a fillet knife. So what I wanna do is just carefully get right underneath the skin, and then once I get the knife underneath it, I'm gonna grab the skin and push the knife forward. And as I do that, I'm gonna start at the bottom of it and slide the knife backwards to try and get just the skin. If you dig into the meat, that's okay. It's gonna take a couple of times, but just try not to. I'm just gonna keep repeating that process. Now that I have my tenderloin clean, now it's time to go ahead and season it. So I'm using a Jamaican dry seasoning. So there's your dry seasoning, and then there's your base liquid marinade too as well. So I'm gonna season this really, really well. It's gonna look like I'm over seasoning it. If you've ever blackened anything, it's the same process. So I'm gonna season this really, really nice. Okay. So now with most people, when they do marinades, they put it in a bowl and then they let it marinate, but there's so much air in that bowl, which doesn't really allow it to get a good marinade. So what I do is I get a nice Ziploc bag, and then we're gonna place that tenderloin right into the bag. And if you guys at home, if you don't like pork tenderloin or anything like that, you can definitely do the same recipe with chicken too as well. And then here we have that Jamaican jerk paste, and as you see, it's pretty thick. So we're gonna thin that out just a little bit with a little bit of this white Riesling wine. So then I'm gonna add almost all of that to it. I'm gonna save just a little bit for basting. And then what you wanna do too is close the Ziploc bag up, leave a little bit of air in there, and then you wanna squeeze out all of the air after you've mixed this really nicely. It's very important that you squeeze out all the air so that it suffocates the pork tenderloin and allows for a really, really nice marinade. Now, I would recommend marinating this for at least 4 hours. I marinated mine overnight. Overnight always works perfect. So I have one in the refrigerator I'm gonna go ahead and grab quick. All right, so as you guys can see, it's got a nice marinated to it. It's marinated overnight. We'll go ahead and open that up. And then I'm using a non-stick pan. I would definitely recommend whenever you're searing anything at home and you're not, as experienced as some of us TV chefs, I would definitely recommend using a non-stick because the stainless steel might tend to get a little bit too hot on you. So I'm gonna go ahead and line this pan up with a little bit of this Bella Vado garlic avocado oil. The beautiful thing about avocado oil is whenever I'm seasoning or wherever I'm searing, it has a 475-degree smoke point, that's what you want because this is gonna get up to about 400 degrees. Olive oil and all those work well too as well, but they have a lower smoke point. And this is extremely healthy, high in all the omegas 3, 6, 9, vitamin B12, even niacin too as well. Give that a nice little mix. Very important that when I put the oil in there, I wait before I put the protein in there until it gets nice and hot, and that way it doesn't absorb all of the oil. I can just smell the cinnamon and all the peppers from the Jamaican jerk marinade. This is gonna be so good, you guys. So what I'm doing right now too is I'm kind of dripping all the excess marinade right into that bag because we don't want to get all that into the skillet. And as you guys can see, there's a little bit of smoke coming on over there. We'll go ahead and lay that pork tenderloin right in there. Oh yeah. So rule of thumb, whenever you put anything in, you always want to give it a nice little shake. And then we're gonna let that cook. We're gonna sear it for about 2 minutes on all 4 sides, and then we're gonna finish it off in the oven. All right, so as you guys see, it's got this beautiful caramelized color in it. All that is all the sugars and all the peppers from the Jamaican jerk now are really, really bonded and really got a really nice caramelization on that pork tenderloin. Always remember though, the pork tenderloin is not done yet. It's still pretty raw in the middle. And we want to take it to about medium, which is about 145 degrees. Pork tenderloin, you never want to cook well done. It will be the most driest piece of pork tenderloin you're ever gonna know. So we're gonna put that in our pan, and what I'm gonna do is take a little bit of this wine and drizzle that right over the pork tenderloin, and this is just gonna help keep it nice and moist for me. So now I'm gonna put it in our oven that I've already preheated at 350 degrees. We're gonna cook that for about 10 to 15 minutes. Optional if you wanna baste it too as well. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm gonna show you how to make that delicious mango rum sauce. So when we were on break, we pan-seared the pork tenderloin. It's in the oven chilling. It's probably got about another 5 more minutes left. So while that's finishing, I'm gonna show you how to make this mango rum sauce. Mangoes are definitely traditional in Jamaica too as well. I like them because it's gonna add a nice balance to the spicy Jamaican tenderloin. So the first thing that you wanna do is puree up your mangoes. Now I'm using frozen mangoes simply because I live in the cities and sometimes you don't get fresh mangoes. So frozen mangoes, for some of you guys that don't know, they're actually more fresher than the fresh mangoes because they actually pick them right away and freeze them right away. So I'm just using a nice little food processor because I want to blend this up. I'm basically pureeing it. I'm using my Chefman's pureer. All right, that looks like that's about good. So we're gonna go ahead and take our skillet and we're gonna turn this on probably about a medium low. I'm using the same skillet that I seared my pork tenderloin in because all those nice flavors that are at the bottom are gonna bond in with the actual sauce. If there's any burnt bits, just make sure you get that out because burnt is not good. So now we're gonna add some of this nice pureed mango sauce. And for those of you mothers that have young babies at home too as well, oh, this is organic homemade baby food too as well. Just don't put the rum in yet. All right. So basically what makes this sauce so special and so easy is that it's just a pureed sauce that I'm just gonna keep adding ingredients into it until I get the results that I want. So the first thing that I'm gonna add to it is a little bit of nutmeg, which is very, very keen in the Jamaican cuisine. A little bit of soy sauce. That's gonna give it a little bit of a bitter flavor. And then mangoes are, like I said, they're a little bit savory too as well. I want them a little bit more sweeter, so I'm gonna add a little bit of this brown sugar. All right. So now I'm gonna give that a little bit of a mix. And as you see, the sauce is really thick and we want it a little bit thinner. So I'm gonna thin that out with just a little bit of Riesling wine and a little bit of Jamaican rum. All right. And we're gonna give that a nice little mix. And remember, I have this on probably about a medium low. You don't wanna overcook this. We're not trying to cook it. We're basically just trying to bond all the ingredients together as one. So the last thing I'll add to that sauce is a little bit of fresh orange. So we're just gonna cut that in half. Take that half orange and squeeze all of that in there. And this is probably about a 1/4 cup of orange juice. And I'm just trying to add a little bit of a citrus in there just to wake those mangoes up. There you go. So as you guys see, we have a lot of different flavors in there. It's gonna be very, very bold. The Jamaican culture, their ingredients are really, really bold. They stand out. When you put them in their mouth, it's like, wow, you know you're eating Jamaican jerk chicken. But when I went down there, most of them put a spicy sauce on a spicy Jamaican jerk chicken, which I'm not a fan of, especially when I brought it back to the States. So we're gonna switch that up a little bit and put a nice sweet sauce to go with that. And it looks like that's almost done. As you guys can see, it's a nice puree. You don't want it too thin and you don't want it too thick. I would say that's about a perfect consistency. So it looks like that's pretty much done. We're gonna go ahead and check on our pork tenderloin. Oh yeah, it's good eating right there. As you see, it still got that nice caramelized color. And what you want to do, you see all those little pan juices that are at the bottom of there? You actually want to pour that in the mango sauce, just like how Grandma used to make her gravy back in the day. And that's really going to add a lot of that Jamaican flavor and that pork flavor to my sauce. Very important too as well, we're going to let this rest for about 5 to 6 minutes. If you don't let it rest, what's gonna happen as soon as you cut it, all of those natural juices that you work so hard to get are gonna spill out onto the plate. But if you let it rest for 2 to 3 minutes, it actually settles in there and you'll have all the juices where they belong, in your mouth and in your belly. All right. So that is your mango rum sauce. Definitely some of the ingredients in there, like the soy sauce, all this is optional. Feel free if you want to use a lemon or a lime instead of an orange. Make this recipe your own. So looks like that's about done.